It's time for the heartfelt narrative of the goodly schoolteacher-turned-boxing champion to be set aside, for the moment at least. Jeff Horn 1701-11 Cost doesn't need to be a Cinderella man on Wednesday night in Brisbane. He needs to step out like a hardened pro and take care of business against a hand-picked opponent who stands in the way of a big-money US debut in 2018. Jeff Horn only just managed to get under the limit at Tuesday's weigh-in on Tuesday. Photo AAP Gary Corcoran WASNT the first option for Horn's first defense of the WBO welterweight title, which was seized from Manny Pacquiao earlier in the year following a bout that dominated boxing headlines around the globe for weeks. Nor was he the second, or probably the third. But HES here, Mr. Right Now, and saying all the right things before he steps into the ring at the Brisbane Convention and Exhibition Centre. The kid can fight, that's all Horn needs to know. All business. Jeff Horn has a job to do against Gary Corcoran, then the US beckons. Photo AAP It's very tough when you fight these guys that are unknown. You always have to be wary of guys like Corcoran, because they come to fight, HES come to take the title, said former light welterweight champion Amir Khan, who was a keen spectator at Wednesday's weigh-in. This is the biggest opportunity HES Corcoran going to get. It's going to be a good fight. Corcoran and his team have refused to let the hometown fight and his future aspirations dominate the conversation. They feel they have been completely overlooked, much the same way Horn was against Pacquiao. Ring announcer Michael Buffer calling him Gary Gallagher as he called him to the scales probably didn't help. His team, notably Hirsute co-trainer Frank Greaves, have done all they can to hurl the cat in the pigeon coop. Suggestions that Horn dirty, something Pacquiao and Freddie Roach may well agree with, have been seeping out for weeks. Any pretense was dropped at the pre-fight press conference on Monday, when Greaves producing a video dossier of what they believe is Horn charging in with his head. Horn HASNT seen the funny side. The face-off on Tuesday was tense, real and worthy of a bout with much at stake, especially with Terence Crawford waiting in the wings as a mandatory. Corcoran 171-7 Cost could do with some good fortune, especially since it's an away game. If referee Benji Estevez Jr. takes note and decides to clamp down on Horn's headless style of fighting, it could make for some tricky adjustments. Or, as Jeff Fennick pointed out, they could stop complaining and adjust rather than admonish. The 27-year-old hails from an Irish traveller family and lives in a northwest London camp, right in the shadow of the arch from Wembley Stadium. He's one of 12 siblings and all of his 8 brothers have stepped in the ring at one stage or another. He arrived as somewhat of a sacrificial lamb for Horn, plucked from England due to his exciting style and aggression. Since he arrived 3 weeks ago, there has been a niggling feeling that Horn's matchmakers have bitten off about as much as they can chew. With Horn struggling to make weight, heated by just 16 grams, and distracted by impending fatherhood, Corcoran has firmed in betting. His trainer, Peter Stanley, has become more bullish by the day. He's focused, determined. He's as strong if not stronger. It's the first time Jeff has been in a live fight, Stanley said. He's got the skills. He'll show it tomorrow Wednesday night. We've fought away from home before, in front of bigger crowds, more hostile crowds, against bigger boys. It's nothing new here. I'm very happy and very confident. We've been completely overlooked since we got here. All this nonsense from the other camp saying they respect us. They picked us. They have picked us. When Gary wins, whose fault is it going to be? And on Buffer's bungled attempt at introducing Corcoran, he'll know his name afterwards, I guarantee that. Promoter Bob Arum has arrived in Brisbane, quick to remind both parties of what could be in their immediate future should they hold up their end of the bargain. Even if Crawford couldn't attend due to visa issues, his shadow looms over the entire contest. Terence Crawford will be the mandatory for this fight. Buildings are on hold. The biggest building in Las Vegas, the T-Mobile Arena, is on hold. It's going to be a tremendous year in the welterweight division, and these two participants will be giving it all to see who'll go ahead as part of these major programs, Arum said. That kind of contest will be salivating for Horn, who only 6 months ago was the one desperate to make a name for himself. Now HES the champion, he must deal with hungry contenders like Corcoran, or his prized belt will be on the first plane to back to London.